Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo buddhaya, namo dhammaya, namo sanghaya. Good morning to all of you on the east side of the world. Well, it's 12:07 here in Florida in the morning, so it's now good morning too to all of you on the west side of the world. It is now Monday. Still Sunday to me because I'm here. Just wanted to give everyone an update on this past week that's been transpiring, and I think all of you who've been uh, informed realize that this week, historically, 4 funerals, all of which I knew the deceased, um, and a lot of clinical cases in between. Tonight, I wanted to make this video, and I try to aim not to make late night videos, and get my sleep and sleep well, and but I don't want to forget details of what happened tonight. So let me start off with some disclosures. First and foremost, when I wear robes this color, it means that I am probably mourning, or I want to have a low profile. This color I wore overseas because to let people know that I'm not from there, and I may make monastic mistakes because I'm not familiar with the custom, culture, tradition, heritage, etc. So I dragged this color back from Thailand because it was not the country's color of choice. Typically, orange, gold, bright spice colors. And so this color was appropriate over the past week because I lost one of my best friend, and as I get older, I'm starting to lose more and more. And this is I'm a little too young for this. Well, I wouldn't say too young, but age 37 is not. It's really not that ideal age, right? To lose friends that quick and that fast. I don't know what kind of era I'm in, but life is impermanent, said the Buddha, and all the teachings associated with death and impermanence. So so let's start off with hold on, some more disclosures. Before starting, I like to also raise awareness and supreme awareness to the practice of the non-self, as I will be using a lot of me, my, and I statements. Okay, here we go. The first death was attorney Simon Tasang, who this office we work close with, especially my dad. Everyone knows that he does immigration law, and on complex cases, my dad is joint hand in hand with attorney Simon Tasang. His office is literally like 3 blocks from this office down 49th Street, next to the Pizza Hut. And I know I've been working with Simon for I think more than 10 years, and I would describe him as a god in immigration law. Let me repeat that: God in immigration law. And there is a few people I had a few people. So I had a text message. Ain't nothing good when text messages come at 12 in the morning. Hmm. So he was a very enlightened man to me because I got to see him in action in immigration court in Orlando. Never seen an individual like that, and just how human he is when we are not in the courtroom together and we're having lunch and we celebrate success cases. And sometimes the opposing side, the government side, opposing side in the courtroom does not work out in his favor, in our favor. Then I just got to see the human sentiment side of Simon Tasang. And he had this. I mean, he was just like a father to me. Truly, really is. And the price that he charged people is just like how my dad charges people. I don't know how they live this long with the very low amount that they charge. So I don't know how karma took Simon to saying that early. So I'm a little upset with karma. I have no control over karma. All of us suffer due to our previous karmas. So it was just it did bring a sense of sadness to realize, no, I don't describe all lawyers as God in their field. Some lawyers truly actually really suck, and they really suck at their job. They don't care about people. They overcharge. They break Florida bar rules and all of the above. I've seen it all. 18 years of legal and medical experience. So when I describe someone as God in their field, they have measured up to par, to point, to standard, true, right, and just with Buddhist angels, what we call them, sainthood level delivery of service, morality, and ethics in business. Um, so it was just this is a big loss. I think overall, in conclusion and totality, it's such a big loss for this community. So loss, such a big loss in the Hispanic, like immigration law, like the immigrants, a big loss towards the immigrant community altogether as a whole. So so just that magnitude, and he was still young, and he was so funny, so as to why the venerable is using precious time in mentioning these individuals in such a way, in great details. I believe he leaves back a couple kids and his wife. I never got to meet them because we were on a professional basis, and the settings that we meet after work is restaurants, but with clients. It's a rare thing that I got to dive deep into his life. So therefore, I only know him on a professional level. So my condolences to the family and friends, and for all of you who have been under the care jurisdiction of Attorney Simon Tasang of Pinellas Park, Florida. He also was a bar member of like 3 other states. I think New York, New Jersey, Chicago. I gotta find his business card around here somewhere. But that's rough, man. The Buddha back in the day got to watch a lot of his disciples die. And I start to slowly feel that pain. Notice the color of this robes, and notice inside of this robe is black. I'm also wearing black shirt on the inside. They don't make black angsas. Haven't found one yet. And then the second death was Andy, who was in charge of the drum um, at the monastery. Oh, where's that water? Hold on, I just had a water bottle here. I knew Andy, and Andy used to watch me grow up at the monastery where I took my majority of my meditation as a young adult up until now. At the Florida Southwest Buddhist Temple, where I, got my first speeding ticket, did community service, started getting into Theravada Buddhism, started samadhi, in breath, Bud, out breath, toll. Butto means Buddha in Thailand, one which knows. And when we did the dragon dance, we would alternate because it's that drum is no joke. That drum is huge. The rate and the rhythm. So I always looked to Andy, and we spoke with eye contact during these events. We were volunteers. We loved it. We loved everything about it. We loved the brotherhood in the volunteer work. And so he died of a heart issue. Simon Tasang also died of heart issues. Simon Tasang, so thus I have heard, Ewo Me Sutang, that he drove to work and it collapsed in his car, Simon Tasang. And Andy, I'm not sure the manner, like, how he passed away, hopefully warm in his bed, surrounded by his family. But he also died of heart issues. A lot of heart issues this year. This year, I worked a lot of cardiovascular cases before going to Thailand, Laos, and Vietnam a couple months ago. And before that, I walked into Northside, and I was working a lot as an interpreter. Um, then we move on to the third death, which was Dr. Huynh, who is a doctor of Oriental medicine. And I need to correct myself because earlier in the week, because due to the accumulated of just the conglomerate of funerals, I believe I said he was a chiropractor. He's not. I work with a lot of doctors. He is an OMD, and my father was an OMD before the war. And my dad was read so many books. My grandmother was his first patient, but my father is a doctor of Oriental medicine. So Dr. Huynh is doctor of Oriental medicine, and I used to work with him under volunteer capacity with Dr. Huynh in Tampa. We had a lot of fun, and I need to find those pictures. I think I have those pictures somewhere. I need to post it. I need to find it. I didn't have time to find pictures of people that I used to work with. That's how busy I have been. And I published that on my TikTok and my Facebook of Dr. Huynh's funeral, and gave my profound assent that he was a wonderful physician, gave so much, loved by all. TikTok videos are like this small, and so you can only fit in like 3 sentences. I found 3 of the most profound sentences to describe this wonderful human. At the funeral, his parents, just the whole funeral was magnificent. Indicative signs and telltale signs, empirical, how much he's going to be missed and loved. So there's a foundation set up in his honor and name. To continue his legacy. Then, as I abruptly learned about Dr. Huynh's funeral, I got a phone call from Kyle's ex-wife. And she says, I was here in this office over there on that table over there when Nikki gave me a friend's request on Facebook. And I'm like, what? Aren't we friends already? There's some people create over and over again. I'm not sure if she ever had me on Facebook or not. But so I accepted the friends, and I was like, huh. And I accepted the friend's request, and within 3 minutes of that friend's request, Nikki wrote to me and said Kyle passed away. So I called her, we spoke, and it was a motorcycle accident. As expected. I expected that, and I talked to Kyle many, many times about, Kyle, I'm a monk. One of these days, I'm going to show up to your funeral as a monk and conduct such service. And even though I didn't conduct a service, I went there. So my heart weighed way too heavy this week. Enlightened or not enlightened, who knows about Venerable Chidao, but one thing is for sure, his human sentiment obviously showed. Wearing my heart on my sleeve this week. And I just wanted to be very apparent with my life for all of you. I know someone's going to start putting a movie together, putting all these snapshots and clips and write books on me when I'm not here. And I just wanted to be very transparent about how human I was and just the human that I am. And I came, and this is how I dealt with the human problems, the human challenges on this very planet. So after the service, which we did not get to share stories, and tonight probably not going to do any justice because you can tell I'm trying to keep it short, concise, to the point, and conclude this thing quite fairly quickly, was I really wanted to share Kyle's story, the timing of sharing his story, that he was a hero that no one knew about. Kyle took a lot of high-risk actions and choices in his life. I think Kyle's the reason. This is a joke, by the way. I think Kyle's the reason why insurance company asks, "Do you skydive? Do you do all these risk-taking behavior in sports? Skydive, motorcycles, snowboarding, just adventurous type, very high risk, very dangerous sports. Anyone who's bought um, anyone who's ever bought life insurance, they test your blood and make sure that your body is, not going to give out in the next week, because then they'll have to pay life insurance on you. They're insuring this very impermanent body that's subject to change. And so Kyle was just that. And I just wanted to share that one story. I don't, funerals and eulogies, I keep it quite brief, sweet. I make people laugh. I think I'm very, I'm known for that. To show up at funerals and make people laugh, and a lot, and hard and deep. Which is, I think, one of the hardest thing ever to do as a human. But I don't really try. I just keep it real the way that it is. and and that happened, by the way. But it just wasn't on that stadium, on that podium, that I expected. I sweat bullets on the way there trying to prepare for the eulogy, and I'm just like, well, get the picture. And I printed out 5 pictures. We had hundreds of pictures together. There was only 5 that I could gather. And I wanted to just share that in 2012 at the Florida Southwest Buddhist Temple, 1770 62nd Avenue North. On that night that we were doing, I was inside doing dual events. I believe it was a New Year. And I'm doing the drums with Andy. And Kyle was on the outside doing the parking lot under the position of volunteer security. I guess the parents turned around, did not supervise the 6-year-old, and the 6-year-old tried to run across 62nd Avenue, 17th Street. Just to let y'all know, 62nd Avenue, a lot of people died. Miss Reynolds, my 8th grade teacher, had to comfort her friend because her friend hit some homeless guy or some guy, and he died. And I saw the body on the ground. And I saw Miss Reynolds run over there, because Miss Reynolds had this long hair you would never forget. That's Miss Reynolds. And her big, huge glasses. She used to work at Riviera Middle School. And so 62nd is very, very dangerous. And Kyle snatched this kid up and prevented a very tragic, very sad. Had he not taken the actions that he did, we would have a very nice memorial. When I'm saying that, great, wonderful, always this Facebook Live. Had Kyle not done that, we would have a nice memorial, like a makeshift memorial for the entire family to visit every single year. As a direct result of that action that he took, he suffered a panic attack and almost had a heart attack himself. I couldn't breathe and hyperventilated and was just in complete shock. And all of us were in complete shock. I was very angry. And that family, you knew for sure, had the long end of the stick that night. And they were lucky that I did not call DCF for such lack of mindfulness. And just exactly how many kids do you have? This is why they sell leash. And if you ever go to Disney World here in Florida, you see parents put their child on a leash. It is not inhumane. It's necessary because some children are born that way. They just like to, run around like, a bouncing monkey. So you have to put a leash on them, That way DCF don't get your kid. So the impact hit me in the middle of the eulogy when they started to speak about Kyle and such a giving individual that he was. And I just sat there and meditated and trying to absorb all of the words mindfully. For some reason, it started getting really hot in that funeral. I was wearing silk robes. That's like the lightest and most breathable fabric you can have. And I was just having like, I don't know, how do you ladies describe it? Hot flashes or something? It's very uncomfortable. I was so glad that it was over very quickly because I don't know what went through in there. And so off we went, and they invited us to this house next to the funeral home and have a gathering and celebration of his life. There's food, there's Coca-Cola that he loved, and they're just trying to, be in an uplifting spirit, not me. I broke off to the far. So I was just hiding. I was just trying to find a place to hide and deal with this feeling. Trying to meditate on Vedana, trying to be mindful of Vedana, Nupasana. Um, and so I took my iPad to capture. I just wanted to capture my face for all of you to see and study grief. Um, and this is why that video is blowing up so much when I titled it "When a Monk Loses His Best Friend." How does he respond to it? How does he respond to it with 23 years of meditation? And how enlightened do you think he actually really is when he's dealing with his best friend's death? So I just just for fun, I just wanted to record myself going through Kyle's booklet of baby pictures, and I just wanted to observe my face, how I absorbing all of this information, uh, and so on. So when the time was right, it was starting to rain a little bit. I just felt like getting up. Didn't really thought too much about it, and I just tried to gather mom and his two sister and his brother together, and I said, I have some of these pictures for all of you, and I just wanted to tell you a little bit about Kyle. And to my surprise, maybe I have dementia, but they all remembered a lot of memories when I was present at his wedding. I was just very surprised at the way how they responded to me, because I didn't expect that they had possession of a lot of memories and stories that Kyle probably told them and other family members told them. So I got their attention, and I just told them about the 2012 thing and made them laugh, and we had a good time as best as we possibly could. And then we departed. So that was. Oh, and then Dr. Huyn's funeral, which is the last funeral this Saturday. That was yesterday, where I approached the coffin, um, and I came and sent my condolences with his wife. The whole thing was live streamed. I didn't even know it was live streamed. I mean, it just there was a lot of camera, but that's okay. That's common actually for Vietnamese funerals to have cameras, professional photographers running around with very long lenses and flashes everywhere, especially high-profile funerals. But was not aware that a camera on the far corner of the room was recording, feeding live stream. Now, one of our rules, actually, a majority of our rules for monk Theravada order 227 in the Vinaya, is not to be near close to women. Women cannot touch monks. Monks cannot touch women. And I gave Sydney a hug, a very duly deserving, necessary healing hug. I don't really care about what other Theravadins think of me. It is my holy order now for all novices to never break rules like that. Let me take the blame. Don't live a blameless life. And at this point, I'm near my retirement anyways, so I don't really care. Um, I was called out for a couple of pictures that was taken with yoga teachers, and they're like the ages of my mother. And one monk, by the way, I've been a monk for 9 years, and one monk decided to call me out about the 227 rules. He has a higher vasa than I do, so I took the pictures down, and it's safe to conclude. And I'm just going to make this general statement that some people can't think. And this statement is not directed towards anybody. I'm just making a general statement that they can't think, whoever they are, about the sensitivity in American culture and the sensitivity of Americans in totality, whereas a hug can be healing. And when the sick, the poor, the dying, the destitute is in front of us, we are there to serve the people. Jesus himself washed the feet of his disciples. The Pope recently washed the feet of women in prison. Cardinals. I mean, just like, and the I'm pretty sure that the Buddha encountered such instances along the way. So there's exceptions as to why. But hey, I'm retiring soon anyways. What are you gonna do? Put me on the news? Have at it. When to call me out, I'll take the blame. My job is to come, heal people, and then leave. So the reaction on Sydney, I also do not expect that reaction. She's holding up really well. Appearance wise, she held up well to me. The ability to smile and encounter the general public. Dr. Huyn's cause of death was a rare leukemia. I can't even pronounce the first adjective of the leukemia. But according to my reading on it, it's 600 to 800 people that gets it. I'm not sure if that's in 1 million or if that's 600 to 800 people a year that gets it. But so, the thing with cancer that I always tell people to comfort them is at least a prognosis, a time when you're going to clock out, um, the expiration date. So you get your stuff in order, advanced directives and power of attorney and all this other stuff versus Simon and the other deaths that took place this week in a very abrupt manner. But I I had I approached her and she told me about how informed she was of my trip in Thailand, and she says, I saw everything. I knew when you were coming back. I knew that you were in the hospital, and I try to respond quickly and try to make her laugh. I don't know what, but I said, yeah, I really needed Dr. Nguyen because Vietnam doctor tried to kill me by giving me unnecessary antibiotic. I lost 7 pounds because of the. I believe it was wrong antibiotic because I've never had my body respond that way. I mean, um, and I'm grateful for karma, the law of cause and effect, to give me 3 seats so I can lay in on the plane. The plane was full. My row was the only row that had 3 empty seats. So I got to lay down and recover, else I would have died on the plane. I lost 7 pounds. No one knew that. Oh, um, so it brought a smile to both of our face that we both were informed on life's journey. And my condolences, and I got to see Dr. Nguyen's kids sitting there, and I expressed how sorry I was for them. That hit home hard in my heart. I had to leave early. I couldn't sit long. That it was too much. I apologize not hanging long to some of the other community members that was probably awaiting my presence. But I he was the fourth funeral this week. And all of these funerals were impactful to me. Impactful. Because they were all great people. They were all Buddhist angels to me. Hell, they were all saints to me. They're all saints under this school. For the sacrifices, and just listen to the story I just shared with all of you. Oh, let me see if I'm trying to gather energy to tell you all the story of tonight. Okay. I'm exhausted. And I've been sleeping here at the office because I'm so exhausted. How about some water? And we'll go with this last story. Okay, so I left the country because I needed to recover from the disappointment that I have seen in the United States and the suicide rates and some of the case files and case studies that I was going through with teen suicide. student resiliency. No one will ever understand the the unbearableness of a clinical Buddhist monk. I am perhaps the first clinical Buddhist monk. I have not seen any other ajahns, any other monks out there who do what I do and show it and publish it and talk about it. Okay, so if I'm wrong, please correct me. Have at it. But so I needed to go overseas, find a nice quiet place, sit and write, just debrief myself. Um, Let me show you all this journal real quick. This is a journal. This is a like a diary journal. It's handmade. It looks ancient, but it's not. It's just very. It just looks like a book from the medieval. I love it. And I wanted to just go overseas and just sit with my pen, write in it. I just knocked my water over and write in it. Fill up my life and case studies and pass on the knowledge to the next reader. That didn't happen. Y'all knew that. I was called to do monastic stuff. Then my dad says, "Come back. I need you to manage the office. I have a case in Vietnam. I got to go." So now I'm back. So my vacation was incomplete. It was incomplete. Now I'm back. Now I'm here, sitting here. And so I had to go back to work. I don't want to go back to work. Why? Because of cases like tonight. And tonight, while under the capacity of a driving instructor on a case in, how about I not release where? I'm going to shield a lot of identity information to protect the identity of the innocent and HIPAA law purposes. Uh, the, the, the gal is a senior in high school, and the standard protocol and instructions were given, seat, brakes, gas pedal, get used to the car, go a couple laps, park, four cones, straight in parking. And I'm noticing that a lot of memory retention issues quickly. The instructions were given, the instruction was forgotten. She's driving on the wrong side of the road in the parking lot, safe, no one around, very safe environment. So I'm like, all right, I've had enough. So I gave instructions to stop the car. Let's have a talk. I said, what's going on with your memory? She's like, everyone tells me I got memory issues. Okay. So I proceed on with clinical questions like, so what's the root cause? Like brain traumatic injury, TBI, um, any organic causes? She said, nope, nope. Anxiety, a little bit. Depression, definitely. Suicide, yeah. And we stop right there at suicide, suicidal ideation. So I explained to her, like, all right, well, you guys obviously hired me as the, driving instructor. If we continue this route with the existence of active depression and suicidal ideation in your head, recycling over and over again, and you're driving on the wrong side of this parking lot, we're not going to make any progress. So we need to resolve, this so that you can be more effective, more efficient, not have memory issues, and be a safe driver. Yeah. It's not good if you drive like this on the road, the real road, right? So we spoke for a little bit. She felt comfortable. First time ever meeting me. It's been an hour. And she talks a lot. I'm gathering information. I take in data. Then I tell her what we're gonna do next. We're not gonna we're not gonna practice anymore. I need to go and talk to your parents. I need to gather more information if we want to solve this problem. Or else we're gonna keep on practicing forever and waste time, money, energy, and everybody else that is involved. I'm not that guy. I'm not that person to waste your money. I'm not that person to waste your time. Let's go have a talk with the parents. So the parents let me in, talk to the parents. But okay, so I go through the whole shebang. The parents give me some more information. I take notes. I tell them what the problem is, how to solve the problem. Then I drag the girl back out from her room. Not drag, but I'm like, hey, you want to come out here so we can do a summary? The entire time the girl was looking on the ground. We got a mom, and we got the mom's new boyfriend. I feel from a clinical standpoint, my experience, my education, training, and experience, that they've given up on her. There's a shame, guilt look on her face. Never seen anything like it. That she's sitting in front of her parents and she will not look at them in the eyes. And the parents hesitated on how to fix the problem. That's not good. What that means is tonight, after the end conclusion of this talk, I'm waiting on this girl, the potential and likely chance of her committing. I just want to make sure I'm not going to get banned from TikTok for saying what I'm about to say. But she may do something foolish. I'm just going to say that. So, yeah, the propensity, the tears that come out of her eyes. The way how that girl responded. So that's why I don't want to work. I just don't. I Why did I act on this? Because my job was just a driving instructor, not a psychologist. I don't have to deploy what I went to college for, but I have. I mean, so I have to walk the talk, right? What I tell all of you: a do a privilege to know and a duty to act. What am I going to do? Have all this knowledge in psychology, the DSM-5, the ICD-10, and what? Not say anything, and just yeah, the art of not giving a. So I decided to act on it, but I also gave full disclosures that I'm not a psychologist. I'm here as a driving instructor. These are the things that I saw, observed, and it rose to the level of clinical concern. This is the problem, and this is how we should proceed on forward. And I gave parents two options. Number one, we can address this issue on a different matter and platform and setting, or I continue being an instructor and just repeat myself over and over again, and hopefully she's more mindful. And they chose the first one, which is let's continue doing what we're doing and remind her to be mindful. They don't want to address the root cause of the problem. That's what's so upsetting and concerning. And at the time of this talk, the word upsetting means, it's like sad, that they don't care about their daughter. And this girl looks intelligent. She has capacity for enlightenment, very much so. I don't waste my time on people who I think not going to be able to crawl out of their problems effectively, buying through cognitive behavioral therapy, buying through the teachings of the Dhamma. So I comfort myself going to bed and telling myself, like I always have and always will, is that people are subject to their karma. I should not be attached on to such events, places, people, places, and things. And what will be, and so it is. Like Reverend Kimberly would say, and so it is. Um, I just have it's my heart and nature to go out of my way and do what I do. But I don't want to work anymore. So it's probably safe, and at the time of this talk, to tell you all that I contemplate an early retirement by next year. What does that mean? Not sure. Not sure, not precise, and not concrete. But all I would tell you this is wherever I retire, y'all can look forward to a lot of writing, right? And my book, Clinical Buddhism. Clinical Buddhism will be a very thick book, perhaps as thick as this one. And the good news is, I went to Barnes and Noble and grabbed miniature journals, leather, for clinical notes and stuff like that. So if the venerable disappear, he will leave these behind, and all of you can dig through them and reconstruct my life and how I saw problems in society. These were $20 at Barnes Noble. Go grab one. Journaling is part of this program. Journaling is mandatory under the school. And I just want to go. I don't want to see. I don't want to hear. I don't want to know about a lot of things that's happening in the world. I just want to write. I just want to take all of this accumulated knowledge of 9 years as a monk, clinical psychology, and everything, all of the work that I have left online for you all to examine. I just want to put it on paper and pass it along so the next generation of monks can view it, review it, get trained in it, be more Buddhist psychotherapists. We need more of those. That's a rare, rare species of monks to be Buddhist psychotherapists. And more good news is today, Novice Ethan is progressing. Um, he is the light and joy of my day, by the way. When I talk about Ethan, the light, joy, hope of my day. Everyone know that I recently ordained 13-year-old Japanese American Ethan, who is Eric, my former assistant brother. I spoke to Eric tonight, and Ethan is doing wonderful. Went to the monastery, make a lot of videos. So we have hundreds of videos to publish for all of you to enjoy. Um, there just isn't any more resources to continue my programs the way that it has been. And I just, I've been ringing this bell for quite some times, and tonight just serves as that repetitive saying so that no one is surprised when I finally do step down and disappear for 5 to 10 years like Ajahn Jayasaro. Ajahn Jayasaro took 20-year break to work on his book of Ajahn Chah. And I see that coming for me. I see that for me. Hopefully, don't take that long. That's 20-year break is one hell of a break. Oh my God! Wow. My father has already given me clues as to where he would like for me to go and visit. And I don't publish this, so y'all just gonna have to wait where I'm gonna be going. Uh, and as soon as in a couple of months. So a lot of things are up in the air right now. Once again, and ever since I stepped foot back in the U.S., I've been very busy working. Um, the other cases don't really bother me. Um, but when I come across someone this young with early praise and promise and the capacity for being awakened, and I see parents that don't care, woo! I'm going to reserve some statements that I observed. And all I would say is some parents should not have kids. And let us give rise and thanks the genetic industry of biology in identifying certain genes that may or may not pass along to their children. I think by now, with 20 years of clinical experience, I think I'm like 1 or 2 years shy of 20 years of clinical experience. I think my eyes is now trained to see that certain parents should really not have biological kids because they pass on certain genes, traits, characteristics that I can see into the parent's eyes and soul and blood and genetic makeup and deoxyribonucleic acid and the karmic effects that they have created. I'm just not sure the amount of rebirths that they're actually going to take after they die to give birth to such child, and the child now has to live this suffering. So I work dozens of cases each week, and it rolls off my sleeve because I'm trained to let things go fast, quick. But tonight serves as a reminder of how much the young generation, the future of our hope and leadership, holds in my heart. And tonight also serves as a statement that one Buddhist monk cannot do it all. And there's no one out there like me that can do what I do. And it's really challenging in this lifetime to engage in this type of work, of this type of volunteer work, and to have this work published without recurring donors to this program. So, recently I met some people and they were also interested in my program over at Vandana's daughter's graduation and house party. And they're like, "Oh, you cater to teen suicide. Tell us more about it. How'd you get in it? What makes you a monk?" Da, 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 da. The whole 10 yards. And yeah, I think the look on my face says it all with the prognosis of kids in the program and the program together as a whole. One thing I wanted to bring up to y'all's attention as to why the Venerable did not create a nonprofit organization, something he was trained in at Ecker College. Because ideally, once you become a monk and you want to do this on your own, you should create a nonprofit and get grants and fundings and donors and blah, 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 blah. And I'm very well informed with the word politics and the people that makes up such organizations. And I just don't trust. I don't trust because I saw it play out when my dad worked as a social worker and the money was funded by and to nonprofit. Just the people that was in the panel. And the other thing I failed to mention was I'm now telling Ethan, instructing, recommending advice to Ethan to study Vietnamese. Obviously he ain't studying Japanese. He's Japanese, half Japanese, half white. He ain't studying Japanese. So, well, you know what? You live in Florida. So either Spanish, Vietnamese, something that they use. Don't study like French because who uses French unless you go to Canada or any other language, whatever. And I said, and by the, Ethan, you're 13, and by the time you're 16, hopefully you master Vietnamese. And if I'm still sitting here as director, assistant director to this office, you'll be, you're gonna make good money. So I just pitched it, left it as that, told his brother about it, so the family knows the seed of skills that I'm planting in his head. So hopefully he follows the instructions, and no matter where I'm at, I can continue to give the instructions. And it's funny, I just wanted to tie this up real quick. Students who follow me, they succeed. And the many people that come in this office, I'm like, you want to get your citizenship? I get it. It's only 100 questions, civics questions. This is how we're going to study. See it, hear it, speak it, and write it too. These are the modalities standard to train your mind and the self-doubt. Oh, and by the way, and for the people who doubt that Ethan could complete the Vietnamese speaking program, it was such doubt, and there's just the accumulated doubts this week in people, and I'm just like, that's a big problem. That's one of the hindrances in Buddhism, is self-doubt. Doubting in your own ability, doubting in others. Doubting in others, who cares? Doubting in your own abilities. Ethan didn't doubt his ability. I think he's too young to doubt his ability. I think he's at a ripening age where it's neuroplasticity and neurogenesis, where it's easy for him to study language and realize the benefits of that. He's blessed are those who understand that, and I think he understands that. And so we'll just have to see. He'll be a longitudinal study. He'll be a longitudinal case study with naturalistic observations, and amongst other researching methods, modalities in the research. Okay, all right. I think I'm just exhausted and I'm just going on and on. Have a good night. Have a good morning. I'll keep you all posted, but I just need a break and I need to complete my vacation. That last vacation was incomplete. And I was talking to Angie, and I'm not sure if Angie's going to arrive to a decision or travel with me, but I thought about it with Angie, and I'm like, that vacation was incomplete. And I just met Angie, and I'm like, Angie, you need a break too. Angie's been working for a long time. And she's one of them people that has done their 8 and gonna hit the gate. Do my 8 and hit the gate, just like the rest of us working 9 to 5. And I've nowadays when you ever speak to me in person, it's straight, short, concise, to the point. So I just tell people, I'm like, yeah, I think you need a break from the job that you've had. 'Cause the job you had was also case management. I am also case management. And the last vacation, my dad told me to come back here. So now I'm here. It was incomplete. I really want to complete my vacation and complete this darn book that I've been talking about for the past 2 years. Gonna go on 3. That's a long time, 3 years of delay. So yeah, let's see where it goes. So, anyways, there's hundreds of videos and pictures for me to post, and one of the phones um, is out of memory. So 256 gigs worth of pictures and videos in there. So I'm trying to woosah this week. Um, I've been spending a lot of time out in the waters, and having a balanced life, and teaching Nathan the middle way that yes, you need to study in school, and there's some more things that you have to do with the Dharma program, but also we're gonna go out and we're gonna do water sports and the Florida life for Ethan. So I'm trying to woo-saw. I'm journaling, so I know how to take care of myself, even though the weight and gravity of tonight's talk is very heavy. I understand, but just know that Cheetah, he's got it. It is one of the most challenging week in the year of the dragon this year, 2024. But I'm determined, and it's the students that like keep me smiling, and they drive me crazy. But I love them to death. But I'll keep you all updated on what's going on. I have a lot of a few divorce cases I got to stay on top of, and a couple of clients that's going to go to Vietnam. So I just got to stay on top of my paperwork. So if I don't appear live again for like a week or two, it's normal. It's okay. You can check up on me by sending me a message, but I'm okay. I'm alive, alert, conscious, awake, aware of what's going on, very mindful. So I hope you all have a wonderful morning. And until the very next time, may you all be well, be happy, be free, and always be healthy. Um, and if it is not an emergency, let's hold off, for a bit so I can just wrap up some things administratively. Um, and we'll deal with things in a couple of weeks. Okay, so now is a great time to practice patience if you are an active student out there. So, talk to you all soon. I'm going to go get some rest. I got a deposition tomorrow at 9 here. And here comes the end button. And sorry, I can't answer questions for y'all on TikTok. You guys are the most wonderful listeners. You guys just kind of stay there for the past hour. I love my TikTok fans. I love all of y'all. So take care, and until the next time, TikTok, get your sleep and don't swipe up and down too much. It might drive you crazy. Oh.